it would be foolish of me to say that it is one big challenge, one big difficult challenge that I've had over the years. There've been so many challenges. The one that I keep going back to was, I was a young mom taking the risk to start a business. And I always knew I wanted to be not just a mom. I wanted to be a great mom. I wanted to be present in my children's life. And, 25 years later, I can say I have given Kenya fantastic citizens. So for me, when I think about women entrepreneurs, and I think just about the difficulties of what they have to go through, if not finances, there's so much that they go through. So I will just talk about that particular one. I can't say it is the only one. There are many. Rhoda, it is difficult. However, I am such a big believer in women. I'm such a big believer in that we are given, it's like we've got innate strength in us. Actually, it's not like we do. We have innate strength. God gave the men physical strength. We were given innate strength for the mind, and just to be able to deal with different challenges and to juggle different balls in the air. So I always hesitate when somebody says, what has been the most difficult thing? Because there are many difficulties I faced and I have overcome. But one of the ones that I just know is as a young mom, they call them mompreneurs these days. I know that for me, the one thing that I really struggled with was, wanting to give my kids 100%, actually 110%, and the business 100%. So what did I do? I think from the beginning, I knew that I had to give a lot more time than most. And because I was running a business myself, I was lucky enough to be able to say, I'm shutting down the office when I was a one-man show. I'm shutting down the office, I am going for school assembly. I'm shutting down the office, I am going for sports day. I'm shutting down the office, I'm going for teacher-parents consultation. I'm shutting down the office, the kids are on holiday. So what then did that mean? It meant that the business did not grow. It meant that I had to really slow down the business growth so that I could spend time with my kids and give them 110%. So for me, when I think about how I overcame it, did I overcome it? I don't know if I overcame it, or I just took it along with me, and I said I was going to be a good parent, and I was also going to build a business that was good. So when the kids were in school, I gave 110% to the business. When I was with them, I gave them 110%. And well, granted, of course, that I had to carry work home with me the many times, especially when the cell phone came in, I had to spend time on the phone, irritated everyone at home. However, for me to be successful as a mom, sometimes I had to just balance that. Sometimes I failed. I thought about many risks that I've taken. I'm a risk taker. I'm the one who just jumps in with both feet and I get on with it. However, for me, the biggest risk, unfortunately, came out of an event it still pains me because it was a break of trust. I had worked with my team. The longest serving person had been there for 13 years. And she was my right-hand person. And out of those 13 years, 7 of those years, she was embezzling funds from the business. I trusted her explicitly. And because I trusted her so much, I let her run the operations of the business, including managing our payroll. And as she was embezzling funds in those 7 years, when I found out, you can imagine the pain. Just the break of trust, I think, was more painful than the money that was lost. Because anyway, the money had been lost for 7 years. I didn't even know it existed. However, just the break of trust for me was a very painful stage in my business. And it's the one thing that I keep going back to. And I say to myself, maybe with a little, because that's what happens to people who are entrepreneurs. People keep thinking about, and I'm not a perfectionist by any standards, but you just keep thinking, could I not have seen it? Every time I come back to this, because it's the biggest risk I had to take as a result of that. What did I do? I laid off all the team. Every single one of them, I paid them off and laid them off. And I had to start again. 15 years after I had started my business, my kids had now gone off to high school, and the business was just now beginning to take off, and I had to change the team. And for me, that risk of saying, you know what, I'm going to start again. I'm going to just lay off everyone, pay them off, and then start again. Until today, I'm just like, I don't have an idea where that came from. The courage to do it, the waking up in the morning and saying, I'm going to succeed, I'm going to do it. Maybe it's because I already had a business that was running. Maybe it's because I had clients to look after. However, that in itself is the risk I took. And fortunately, it paid off. Was it without, it was, I don't want to say it wasn't with pain. Even as I say it, I don't want anyone to think that it was easy. It wasn't. So you women entrepreneurs out there, even when it is not easy, keep at it. And did it pay off? Yes, it did. Like I said before, it's honestly, women, we are just so blessed that we have that innate strength. And yes, no, you have to call on that strength sometimes, but sometimes it just comes to the fore. When something goes wrong, you're up, you're in, you get into it, do what you have to do and get along. But one of the things I say is, when you fall, get up, dust yourself off. And for some people, at different stages in my life, at different seasons, I behaved differently. When I had little kids and the business, something happened in the business, I didn't have the luxury of saying, oh, I'm going to go home and forget about this business today. I'm just going to go home and I am going to, these kids, they can get themselves home somehow, and I'm just going to go and wallow and get into bed and sleep. I'll wake up tomorrow and to be a better day. At each stage of my career, when the kids were little, I had to get on with it. I had to, we say, putting on your big granny pants and just getting on with it. However, as I get older, and as I got older, I've responded differently to when I've had difficult times. Sometimes I've had to take a step back and ask myself, what can I do? What could I have done differently? What can I do now? Who can I call on? And it's the one thing I will tell all female entrepreneurs is, please leverage on your networks, leverage on those who've gone ahead of you. In the 25 years I've been in business, for some strange reason, the one thing I find about women don't want to ask people not all women. I don't like to use a paintbrush to just answer questions like wholesale and say, yeah, this is all women are like this. I said, some women struggle to ask. Some women struggle to look for someone to help them. I had a mentor early on, even before they were called mentors. I knew I needed to talk to somebody who had experience in the field, and I was lucky enough to have a person who was senior enough in his where he was a partner. He was senior enough, so he was able to help me. But along the way, the women who have come to me, and I hope if they're out there and they haven't come to me, if they want to, please come out to me and ask questions. Don't make the same mistakes I made. I am always quick to advise. I'm always quick to give service. I am to be of service to those who are working in recruitment. For me to say, no, don't do it that way. Don't cost it that way. If you cost it that way, you're going to lose out in this way. This is what I did in the beginning. I looked at these guys to work with. I suffered this. I suffered that. I want to dispense of that advice freely, happily so. So please, if you have people in the field that you're in, look up to the experts. Fortunately, and I say this with such pride, women are each other's therapists, counselors. We support each other in a way we don't even realize. When someone calls you and tells you what problem they're experiencing and you listen, that in itself is you've lightened the load for her. And it is a thing we do naturally. Whenever you even think about having a problem, it's either your mom, your aunt, your friend, we talk to each other, and that really helps. So as an entrepreneur, I'll tell you what, when the problems come, dust yourself. You will fall, but you have to rise up. You have to dust yourself and just tell yourself it will get better.